Welcome back to Dave's Gone By. Let's take a step away from current events and the headaches of life for a few minutes and sail blissfully into the world of entertainment. It's a segment I like to call Dave's Gone Cultural, featuring reviews, previews, and interviews about the arts. Tonight, I'm happy to have on the phone a fellow theater critic and a friend of mine for several years now, Charlie Gross. Hey, Charlie.
How you doing, David?
Great to hear
Glad
from you.
You've finally gone cultural after all these years.
Well, it's been a difficult, long haul, but I'm trying. Charlie is the co-host of a long-running theater program. How many years is it now?
I think we're in our 12th or 13th season this year. It's Two on the Aisle.
Uh-huh.
If you're in Manhattan, you can see us every other Tuesday, 7:30 p.m., Channel 57.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in Bergen County, New Jersey, or at least parts of it, you can see us on Channel 98 on the Time Warner system every Monday, 10:30 p.m. If you're in neither, fear not. We are now streamed live on the web every other Tuesday, 7:30, www.mnn, that's Mary Nancy Nancy, .org, O-R-G, then you click on Channel 57, and we're there. It's not stored, so you have to watch it live every other Tuesday, 7:30, but it's there, and even if you have a phone connection, you can see us.
Well, great. I think it's wonderful. You've been doing the show so many years, and now really not just Manhattanites can see it, but everyone. That's terrific.
Myself and Jeff Goodman, we're kind of the Siskel and Ebert of the theater.
Exactly. That's what you do. You review Broadway and off-Broadway. You do some interviews, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're having Raphael Mostel. We've had in the past Sandy Duncan, Shari Lewis when she was on Broadway.
It's
Michael
a cool
Broderick.
thing. And what we're going to do here, though, is the Siskel and Ebert thing about this is
You have been on the show many times.
Yeah, I appreciate that, kind of returning the favor here. This is the Broadway season. This is it until the spring when a whole bunch of other things will open up.
Right. I think the Tony deadline was coming up.
Right. So 3 big musicals I want to talk about today, and it's La Boheme, Man of La Mancha, and Dance of the Vampires, all certainly big in a production sense. Let's find out if they work also in an emotional and theatrical sense. So let's start with La Boheme, which is the opera, the Puccini opera.
Yes, and is probably better known to Broadway audiences as the musical Rent.
Well, the pre-musical.
The basis
right.
of the musical Rent. And I'll tell you, if you've seen Rent before you've seen La Boheme, the thing that will strike you, I'm sure, is an all-white cast and where all the characters are straight. But it is certainly the opera, and I have to say I was a little disappointed with this play.
Why is that?
I had expected incredible staging. I had expected an incredibly strong emotional draw, and it just wasn't there. I mean, the staging, the sets are beautiful.
Yeah, I think the second act set in the cafe and then all of that with all the people is marvelous.
Gorgeous. The singers, although they alternate, the ones I saw, beautiful, pristine voices. It's a type of thing you don't really get to hear on Broadway that often, and it's nice to have something this diverse on Broadway. And it even gets a little quaint. The set is high tech. The opera is sung in Italian, but it's got subtitles.
Right, and I think they get a little too cute with the fonts they use on the subtitles. I don't know why they do that. It's really the only distracting thing for me. But yeah, I'm still not getting quite why you were a little underwhelmed.
Well, the staging seems very static. I mean, it's respectable staging by the director of Moulin Rouge,
Baz Luhrmann.
But certainly I had been led to believe, it's innovative, it's a new interpretation, whatever. And
no, it's just
not that I'm an opera connoisseur, but it seemed like a fairly standard type staging, and I wasn't emotionally drawn in to the show.
That would be my one real agreement with you, as much as I liked it. I wasn't terribly moved at the ending. I mean, that moment, I don't want to give away the ending to anybody who isn't familiar with La Boheme over the past 150 years, but the girl dies.
Yes.
And that should be a really distraught, tragic moment, and I found other moments leading up to it touching in the first couple of acts.
Yes.
I mean, the famous ending of the first sequence is so powerful, but
it's nicely done, but I was certainly expecting a lot more out of it.
Okay, now going to away from a classic of opera to a classic of modern musicals, semi-modern musicals.
Man of La Mancha, yes, definitely a classic.
With the score by Mitch Lee and Joe Darians, the book by Dale Wasserman, who also wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. They seem to revive this one every 10 years. This one now has Brian Stokes Mitchell and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio as its stars.
Don't forget Ernie Sabella.
Ernie Sabella, Sancho Panza. And what did you think?
Well, first of all, I have to say I must compliment the orchestra and the sound people. I have had so much trouble hearing the lyrics in a lot of the shows I've been seeing lately.
Oh, and we'll get to Dance of the Vampires later.
Yeah, but this was so pristine. I could hear every word, even a couple of words that I hadn't heard before. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. It's so nice to hear words and music that don't sound overblown, over-mic'd. It has a good Broadway live feel to it. That said...
And thank you, Tony Mayola. That's the sound designer.
Yes, thank you very much. Brian Stokes Mitchell, who, he's an incredible singer, wonderful baritone, wonderful actor. I enjoyed his performance, but I was a little disappointed. He plays Quixote as an old man, which of course he is. Mm-hmm. But this is the knight. This is the man who's singing the impossible dream. And I think he emphasized the old man a little too much. The knight has to shine through occasionally.
Yeah. And you actually agree with John Simon there, who said that as terrific a leading man as Brian Stokes Mitchell is, I think he's one of our premier leading men, because it's so doddering, Simon missed some of the suavity of Richard Kiley, the fellow we heard earlier when we were opening this segment. Right. A little bit of that grandeur. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I think Mitchell really carries it off. And what did you think of Mastrantonio?
Okay, just one quick thing about Mitchell. He carries it off. But again, the knight needs to shine through, and also he may respect the role a little too much. He doesn't let loose the way he did in Kiss Me, Kate.
Gotcha.
Mary Elizabeth was incredible. I had no idea she could sing that beautifully. And interestingly, when she's singing her numbers, when she's singing about Aldonzo's past and why she is what she is, when she's singing The Impossible Dream, her version of it, it brought tears to my eyes. She gives such a wonderful performance.
Yeah, I thought she was really a knockout in all different kinds of ways. Right. I did think the staging was a little clunky. I could have used a little more action as far as that goes, and rather grim in a certain sense. But the two stars, untouchable, just terrific. Quickly, we have to go to Dance of the Vampires.
Talk about Ernie Sabella real quick.
Oh, go ahead. Say, what do you think? His Sancho Panza.
Also good, but I expect so much from Ernie, having seen him in so many other things that. I was a little disappointed. He was good, but I expected him to be great.
Okay. We have one more minute. Vampires, I assume you really, really, really did not like?
Very disappointing. They're trying to be campy. It's Rocky Horror, Cats, Phantom of the Opera, all rolled all up into one. Michael Crawford as the star. He's a combination of the Phantom of the Opera and Cornelius Hackle in that role. I honestly think that this show would have been a lot better if they had actually tried to play it straight. There is potential for this show, but I really think they went in the wrong direction here, despite all that beautifully grandeur scenery.
Yeah, and I think I don't mind the spoofiness of it. I just thought it was too loud and too much. Otherwise, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot. Anyway, gotta run, but I want to thank you so much for coming on the show, reminding people Tuesday nights, 7:30, Channel 57, Time Warner Cable for 2 on the Aisle.
MNN.org.
Right. Charlie, thanks so much. We'll see you on the aisle.